Hey, what's going on, you guys? Bring your friends here. Today I'm just making this video to go over the Mesmer changes that were in the Ready Up episode and then give my thoughts and opinions and feedback on it. I'm just going to go down the list of how the video was shown to you on the Ready Up and then just give my thoughts on each one. With Triumphant Distortion, I don't really feel that anybody in their right mind is going to pick up this trait at all in SPVP. It's too much point allocation for something that can't even really be used effectively or timed in a good manner anyways, so I think that's more of a will be rolled trait. I don't really think that anyone even cares about Triumphant Distortion at this point for 30 points into the tree. Illusionary Elasticity now works with clones that use Winds of Chaos. I think it's a good buff for staff. I'm not really sure if it's a needed buff for staff, but hey, I mean, if you want to put, the points in to get it, then why not? It's good, effective, sustain DPS, more or less. Maim the Dissolution, increase the torment duration. I'm not sure why they're trying to buff condition with Seems This Ready Up, but hey, whatever. I guess it'll work out in the end. I mean, the torment is a really nasty condition to get rid of anyways, but I mean, if you spec 30 points in the Maim the Disillusioned, I suppose you should get the increased duration. The Sword Illusionary Leap, this has been like a godsend. Thank God they finally fixed this trait. I was kind of wondering if they were or not, but it seems the only way to ignore the pathing is to completely rework the spell, because obviously you can't really fix the Z-axis, but it's easier to ignore it and then give it a complete new redesign. So Sword's getting a huge buff, which is about time, because like Illusionary Leap was very unpredictable at best when it came to anything like a hill or a fucking rock or anything. So it's going to be a breath of fresh air for anybody who uses Sword on Mesmer. The Eye Warden bug fix, obviously, nobody really needs an explanation. It's a bug fix. Obviously should fix bugs anyways. Mind Stab, increase the radius and damage. Good buff for Greatsword. I mean, obviously you're going to be ripping boons a lot more often and on a lot more people, so it's always good. Scepter auto attack. Now this is the one where it kind of goes a little bit crazy, I think, in my opinion. I don't think that Scepter should be on Torment at all on an auto attack. It's just it's way too much. Like, you have Maim the Disillusioned, where you have to spend 30 points into the bottom tree to get, and then you just throw on Scepter and you get that on your auto attack. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, Scepter needs reworking, but this is not the way to rework Scepter. Like, you do not need to put Torment on an auto attack that your clones share. Like, it's just it's way too spammy, I think. Well, it's not necessarily too spammy, but like, Torment is just like a really nasty condition, and to give it on a Scepter auto attack, I think is too much. I think Scepter 1 needs to be reworked. It's just very slow to begin with. I think the cast time needs to be sped up, because Scepter 1 rarely hits anyways. So I think something really needs to be done about Scepter 1, but Torment is not the answer to that question. When it comes to Scepter 2, I think that the blind should be on the counter instead of the Torment. That being said, I think it would be a good change to Scepter 2 if you were to successfully block with Scepter 2. You would get like an on-screen proc, kind of like you do when you get like a weapon swap for Doom, like Sigil of Doom. You swap weapons, you get Sigil of Doom, next attack inflicts poison, right? So same thing with Scepter 2. Like, if you block with Scepter 2, you get like a, whatever sigil, just name it, like Sigil of Torment, for example, and your next attack inflicts 5 stacks of Torment. That way, if you're in a team fight and you block, you can actually direct the Torment instead of, oh, well, I blocked with my Scepter, it's just RNG of where it goes, whoever I blocked, whoever was shooting me, which is pretty retarded. Like, you can't control it. It's not very effective or reliable, so I think that change on Scepter 2 would be nice. Somebody hits you, you get the proc. They have a chance to counterplay because they can see the proc on your screen or on your little, bar or whatever, and then that's it. When it comes to Scepter 3, which is the confusion, I think the cast time needs to be a lot faster, because the confusion application doesn't hit until 50% into the channel, which is way unreliable. Like anybody can dodge this. I mean, you can see it coming from a mile away. It's just like, you know, and then by the time you're actually casting confusion, you can literally dodge half of it, and you'll only get like 1 or 2 confusion procs, you know, on said person. So I think the cast time for Scepter 3 needs to be really sped up or reworked completely. I don't think that it's reliable at all, but definitely more reliable than Scepter 2 at the moment, just because you can actually direct where the damage is going. Let's see, I think that's all I had to say about Scepter. The Mantra of Pain increased to 5 target 240 radius, and the Mantra of Distraction 5 target 180 radius. I think that's obviously it's a buff to mantras, which is great, but like I don't think that most of these buffs are more or less offensive buffs to Mesmer and not really defensive buffs. I think that there needs to be more defensive buffs to Mesmers, because most Mesmers are getting just creamed by thieves, but obviously after the patch, who knows what's going to happen. But that being said, it seems that if you don't get your input out before the patch hits, there will not be another chance to actually affect the meta after the fact. We'll have to wait for like another 6 months or something. So I don't know. And Mimic, last but not least, it basically now copies all boons on target. I kind of like the way Mimic was before, because like one of the cool things about Mimic is you can actually proc your own block with staff auto attack. So like, since it would obviously bounce back to you, it's considered a projectile, and then boom, the block goes up and you block all attacks. Like that was a cool idea. It was an interesting concept or whatever, but now they reworked it completely. Now it just copies all boons, which is cool, but I kind of like to Mimic the way it was before. You know, maybe if they added something to it, or you know, something like that, it would have been nice. Like one of the things that I think Mesmer's kind of needed that they took away was in the tree with, like, say, Blinding Befuddlement and stuff like that. Like, where's it at? Not Blinding, actually, yeah, it was Blinding Befuddlement. Blinding Befuddlement and Chaos Armor. Like, when you put the RNG, or not the RNG, but the internal cooldown on Chaos Armor, I think it really took away a lot of its defense when it came to, like, Elementalists and Thieves. I think that's one thing that really hurt Mesmers that use staff. Because before, when there was no internal and you had Chaos Armor, like if a thief or an elementalist actually used like a decent burst or their entire burst on you, you would actually see like 5 stacks or 6 stacks of confusion, especially when with Blinding Befuddlement. So that was like a really good combo back in the day, but since they nerfed both of those skills, it's kind of like pretty much non-existent. You have a 5-second cooldown on Blinding Befuddlement, and you have a 1-second internal cooldown on the conditions that can be put out with Chaos Armor. I think that something like that should be changed, possibly back to the way it was, maybe. Like Blinding Befuddlement, 5 seconds on that, I think is too much of a nerf, in my opinion. Like that was one of the reasons why when you face Elementals and Thieves, that if you ran stuff like that, you know, obviously you would see a huge difference in your matchup versus those classes. So I mean, it's only a matter of time. I don't know what's going to happen after the patch when it comes to because basically with Mesmer, more or less, or overall, the class was fine. It was just other classes that were overshadowing Mesmer. But with these changes, it seems like Mesmer is going to go from like 0 to hero, which is always technically a bad thing. You don't want that much change from one class to be just non-existent to flavor of the month after a meta change. Like you want things to gradually go up and down, but like I guess that's just ANET for you. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'll probably be posting this on the forums to get some feedback on it. And let me know what you guys think or any suggestions. Basically, the main thing is Scepter. I think Scepter definitely needs some love, but it's getting love in all the wrong ways. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. My name's Countless in Game, or Bring Your Friends on my YouTube channel. I'll probably be uploading it there. And, yep, I'll see you guys later.